Hello, my name is John and this is From the Basement, Thursday, July 16th, 2020. I've been thinking about the birth of the blues, how it was a sad melody. They pushed it through a horn until it was forlorn. But is that white-splaining about an emotion, explaining how another person felt in a cute and profitable way? I thought of that song because we had something else get pushed through a conduit that wasn't designed for electricity. Well, there's a couple of old batteries and a voltage tester, but that doesn't communicate the force of 7,700 volts through a mulberry branch filled with sap. And the temperature of resistance to the point of combustion. You've seen those videos. A smoking branch touching a high voltage wire until it bursts into flames. Well, in my case, the branch was really no bigger than your little finger. And so it burst and cut through before it did much damage to the rest of the tree. But you could see the burn marks all the way up the arm or the branch where the voltage had tried to make its way, and it did. There was a connection. There was a circuit to the ground. But the resistance was high. The fire department was there. But what alerted me to the problem was actually, surprisingly, a smoke alarm that was beeping every 15 seconds because the batteries were low. And if you've ever tried to locate the source of that beep, you know it can be a challenge, especially if you have 3 or 4 in a similar area. And we have 4. One in the basement, one in the laundry room, one in the master bedroom, and one in the upstairs. And each one was checked for the battery strength until finally in the upstairs, that battery had been in there 3 years. Really strong batteries. I recommend them. But as I was coming down from the upstairs, I went over to the compost area, which is to the north side of the property, and I heard the sound of what to me was interpreted as a fly in a dry leaf. You can make that sound, can't you? Just put your lips together and say bzzz. But it's more tongue to the roof of the mouth, with the teeth partly closed to make the bzzz. Can you make a bzzz sound? It's not a sound of a bee. It was sound of something that wasn't moving, because bees usually move when they buzz. Can you imagine the buzz of a flyleaf I mean a fly wings of a fly. Can you imagine that sound? Zzz, in a dry leaf. Zzz. And it just so happens that the leaf was locatable. I could look up and see where I thought. In fact, that's why I thought it was a dry leaf, because when I looked, I saw a dry leaf. And I thought, why doesn't that fly get out of that leaf? How did he get in, and why can't he get out? But it just so happens that in the line of sight between me and that leaf was the high voltage line and the branch that was smoking by now. And zzz took on a new crackle and meaning and urgency. Immediately I went into the house and told my wife that there was a branch in the high voltage line. I was calling the fire department. Not to worry, they'd be here shortly and we'd take care of it. I called the fire department, gave the dispatch my address twice, and waited. I also thought I needed to let our tenant know, who was in the back room nearby where the mulberry tree is, that the fire department would be here soon. Not to worry, that a branch had come across and was touching the high voltage wires. Now we had the power company come out and trim off those water chutes, those suckers that grow in the springtime to lengths of 6, 8, 10, 12 feet. But somehow this one was missed, and the wind perhaps had dislodged another branch that was normally in that direction. But my neighbor and I had gone through in the fall and trimmed off the large branches off the roof. But we didn't touch the ones that were headed toward the high voltage wires because, well, they could have touched, and they could have made a circuit out of us. Now I belabor this because my nephew, well, let's just say my brother got upset with my nephew for his experimental choice in the use of electricity and to see if the circuit was working. I protest my nephew's innocence. He didn't know, and none of us knew. I didn't know. I didn't know the force of high voltage and low resistance. Well, and so in my interview yesterday, I thought about improving senses for safety and the sound of a fly in a dry leaf, or the smell of a rotten egg where it shouldn't be, or the sight of smoke where someone isn't smoking. Or the taste of something that just doesn't quite taste right. Or the feel of, well, what would be your submission for the feel category, the sensory sense of touch that would alert you to something dangerous, maybe something pointy, maybe something hot, something sharp. Do goosebumps count? Just asking. Well, this is John. I'm in the basement. I'm looking for some sticks. Thank you.